Hi there. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to ask you an important question. Are you wondering why your hard work isn't reflecting in your bank account? If so, I've got something that could change the game for you. With my Digital Product Accelerator one-on-one coaching program, I'm on a mission to help entrepreneurs like you bank consistent revenue without sacrificing your time or sanity. Imagine shifting from 90% client-facing work to enjoying consistent revenue from your digital products, all while reclaiming your time. You already know that you don't need another course, and a one-size-fits-all approach isn't going to cut it. What you need is a strategic, long-term plan tailored just for you. So if you're ready to build the profitable, freedom-giving business you've dreamed of, apply to work with me by going to destinycop.com/apply. I cannot wait to learn more about you and your business. Welcome to the Course Creators MBA podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Destiny Kopp, and I help business owners increase the revenue with digital products and evergreen sales funnels. In this podcast, we go deep into product and marketing strategies for digital product creators. We cover everything from digital product creation, how to market and sell your digital products, and just as important, how to find your ideal customer. Let's jump right into our show. And my special guest today is Jelena Ostrovska. Jelena first got started in business at the age of 18 when her parents introduced her to network marketing. So having skipped college, her journey involves going through several businesses, including affiliate marketing, getting certified as a business coach, and launching her own services in digital products. And Jelena now serves business owners through delivering an organic content marketing strategy that converts inside of her social media marketing agency. And Jelena, I am super excited to jump into this topic with you. And before we get into all the questions I have for you, can you tell the audience just a little bit more about you and how you help people?
Yeah, so I actually have quite a long journey. And first of all, Destiny, thank you so much for inviting me. So excited to be here and share a lot of, great information with your audience. And so my journey goes way back to 2013 when I started in network marketing. I was 18 years old. I had no idea what marketing was. So I was as brand new as I could possibly be. And I had no idea what marketing was, didn't know what content marketing was. I was only using social media to share memes with my friends and classmates. So, and not to mention, I'm also Russian. You can't hear the accent as much anymore. It kind of went away. But English is not my first language. So that was the initial challenge that I've had. And early on, I discovered that digital marketing and social media and content marketing especially has been one of the best ways to get your message across, because offline strategies, while they are great, they never really worked well for me because my warm audience wasn't my ideal audience to building a business. And through that whole transition through network marketing, affiliate marketing, getting certified as a coach, creating my own programs, and to now running a service-based agency business model. Throughout the years, I kind of realized, the only thing that I have always been consistent ever since I got started has been content marketing. So I've done, 6 months of consistent blogging. And by consistent blogging, I mean, I would put out articles 5 to 7 times a week, every single week for 6 months straight. And that's really what allowed me to get better at content marketing as a whole. Not to mention, I was also putting out YouTube videos, which really sucked at the time because it was really hard to record them for me. I spent hours and hours editing them. I had to really script them. And some videos, I really look like I had a gun pointed to my head because I was like so robotic. because of the accent and because it was really hard to talk business English for me. And yeah, but like that's like that was kind of initial exposure to really being consistent with content was blogging, because it's a full structure. I was recording a YouTube video, I was optimizing it for SEO, for the search engines. I was writing the article, I was following all the SEO guidelines and everything like that, and then I was promoting the articles, I was promoting my YouTube channel, I was talking to people online, and then I kind of transitioned from that to more more YouTube and social media. Like right now my main platforms are Instagram and YouTube. And like content has really taken me far. Like I've used different strategies like ads and like prospecting and cold outreach and things of that nature, but the one thing that I've really been known throughout the years has been just being ultra consistent with showing up every single day on social media.
And the message I'm getting out of that is being consistent works. Whether it's doing blogging, doing the YouTube videos, showing up on social media, maybe it's even emailing your list, but being consistent works. And if you're willing to be consistent, you will succeed. So I love that message that you have to hear. And today we're going to be talking about how to create a content strategy. And one of your kind of core messages or values is when you're creating content is to have an open mind and being willing to experiment. Can you talk a little bit about that and why you came to that conclusion?
Yeah, absolutely. I started on Instagram as my main platform at the end of 2014. It was around October, November. And back then, the platform was so different. We only were posting quote images. We were commenting on each other. We were using the stupid hashtags. They were like follow for follow. It was a very different platform. It was almost 9 years ago at this point. And I'm just going to use Instagram as an example because I feel like it's one platform that has really evolved and changed and shifted. And not just even in the last 9 years. I feel like in the last 2 years, Instagram in itself has been such a roller coaster. I started managing small businesses' Instagram pages, and then all of a sudden it got like, it was just insane. It was insane. I feel like a lot of people who have been using Instagram very actively can relate to that. It's been update after update after update, anyway, so back to 2014, we only had images. We didn't have videos. We didn't have live video. I believe in 2015 or 2016 was when we first got access to like Facebook Live, and we had Periscope at the time. I don't know if the platform is still around. I heard some people still use it. That's connected to Twitter. So that was like the first live stream that we've had at the time. So at the time, like, it was very comfortable for me. It was very comfortable posting photos. I was like, okay, at least I don't have to show up on video and talk. And the quality of the video was very bad at the time. I look back to some of my videos from 2016 and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so bad, such bad quality. And back then we thought we were amazing, right? And then 2015, I believe, early 2015, Instagram started rolling out the square 15-second videos. And that was the first, challenge that we had to adapt to. It was like, okay, so now just besides the quotes, we have to somehow squeeze in a bunch of content, a bunch of great ideas into a 15-second time slot, right? So, and as I was kind of like dabbling into video marketing at the time, I was getting used to recording longer form videos like 2015, 2016. And then now we have this 15 seconds. I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much to say right now, but there's not that much time. So that's kind of like, if you look at the timeline of just Instagram itself, we went from photos to 15-second square videos to then I believe it was 60-second square videos. Then there were like live videos and stories got added into the mix, probably like 2016, 2017, I believe, around that time, something like that. So yeah, it was like a lot of changes. And I feel like with social media in particular, there's always something new, right? So we can have an overall strategy, the topics that we talk about, as a business owner, you generally have, your kind of content pillars, your content buckets, your categories, whatever you want to call them. but then you have to adapt your strategy. Okay, now we have Instagram stories, for example. How do I incorporate them into my overall marketing strategy, into all of my content pillars? Then you have, let's say, Instagram Reels. We got them, 2020, something like 2020, 2021. Now we have Threads that's connected to Instagram that, do we use them? Do we not use them? So that's why I always say you can't always be like set in stone and just use the 2014 strategy in 2023. It just doesn't work. And I still see, surprisingly, business owners that really use those outdated, I wouldn't even say strategies, I would say tactics, because we have like the full-on strategy, the content strategy, the social media strategy, but the tactics is the little things that we incorporate. So yeah, I feel like just with those changes, we always have to be kind of on our toes.
Well, one thing I definitely agree is everything's changed and it continues to change. And, like you mentioned, they've added Threads here recently, and everybody's kind of kind of going around trying to figure out how do I add that into my content strategy. So where we are today is 2023. And we know that, course creators and membership owners or online business owners are listening to this. What would you suggest to them, given where we are today in 2023? How should they create their content strategy? How should they go about it?
So the one thing that I will say, I feel like it's very hard these days to just stick to one platform because, back in the days, that was always the advice, just start with one platform, get really good at it, get consistent, get consistent results, and then branch out and add things. Personally, I did do the one platform strategy, but I was always like the curious person. I'm always like, there's so many things that are available. Like I kind of want to use, a little bit of that and a little bit of this. Personally worked out for me. For some people, they get like so overwhelmed and distracted, but I've always been the kind of like at least two platform kind of strategy, right? So for me, it's always been like a searchable platform strategy, which could be a blog, a YouTube channel, or a podcast. It's like your main big long form piece of content that you put out and you're able to be found organically, years to come. Like I still generate traffic from some of my old blog posts. I still generate traffic from some of my old YouTube videos. That's the power of that, evergreen content. And then social media, I would say at least one social media platform these days. So whether that's going to be Instagram or Facebook personal profile or Facebook business page mixed up with ads, or whether that's going to be TikTok. So one evergreen platform where you get found, one social platform where you can get found like today, evergreen where you can get found for years to come. Because again, you put out a podcast, and I'm sure Destiny, you've experienced the same thing. You put out a podcast and then months later it gets found. You then get a social media message saying, hey, I really, I found this super valuable, blah, blah. And then on social media, it's a little bit different. You usually get found, like today. You don't have any of those videos that are like ranking, even though TikTok and Instagram work a little bit differently. They're trying to incorporate those, keywords and search engine. And if you do, for example, recently I was doing a Google search on something, and I noticed that Google has a whole section for short form video, and it doesn't show YouTube Shorts, it shows TikTok. You would think Google would show its platform, the YouTube Shorts. No, it was showing TikTok. So that's kind of, the clue for a lot of content creators, course creators, that's, TikTok is kind of the platform to be. I was always a little bit of, like 50-50 on TikTok myself. But there's another kind of strategy that you can use, which is multi-platform. Let's say if somebody's listening right now and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have the time for a podcast or a YouTube channel or a blog, you can incorporate multiple social media platforms as well. For example, you can start with, the top of the funnel, which is like the marketing fundamentals. The top of the funnel could be your TikTok account, where you get massive traffic, because I still feel like even today in 2023, TikTok gets way bigger reach than Instagram or Facebook or any of these other platforms or Threads or whatever. So you can have your top of the funnel can be TikTok. That's where you get discovered, because on TikTok, you do put out a video and then it can, pop in the algorithm 2-3 weeks later. That's kind of how it works. So it kind of acts a little bit as a search engine, but not really, kind of more of a short search engine, if that makes sense. And then from TikTok, you obviously can't do a lot of things on TikTok. It's more about the discoverability platform. Then you move people to your Instagram account, because at the top of your profile, you can have your Instagram page. And there you can nurture your audience, right? You can put up Instagram stories. You can go live on Instagram. You can't go live on TikTok, but I feel like it's a little bit of a different vibe on Instagram. You can be a little bit more promotional. You just have so many more features, I feel like, on Instagram, between carousels and live video and stories and a better messaging experience. So that's where you nurture the audience. And then so that's your middle of the funnel. It can be Instagram. And then your bottom of the funnel is essentially your email list, because you always want to build a platform that you own, that no one's going to shut down, take away from you. So essentially you move people through kind of that pyramid, I guess we can say. Like, I don't like using that word in marketing, but it kind of looks like a pyramid, I guess. The top of the funnel is TikTok. The middle of the funnel is Instagram, where you build the relationships. And the bottom of the funnel is your email list. So that's kind of the strategy I would go for these days.
So I want to go back and talk a little bit more about the long form content that you suggest, which was either a blog, a YouTube, or a podcast. And I know you've done blogging and YouTube. Can you talk a little bit more about, are you still doing those? Or do you think that's something that people should do all the time? Or once they build a big base of like blog posts, maybe they get, 150 blog posts, then they can focus more on just publishing content, maybe on social media, and sending out emails to their list?
So I would say it depends where you're at in business and how much time and resources you have to put into such platforms. Because when I started, it kind of made sense at the time. Like, I was in a blogging community and we were all sharing each other's articles and stuff like that. I feel like these days, if you either prioritize long-term strategy and long-term visibility, or you prioritize revenue. And a lot of the times these days, I feel like personally, I would prioritize revenue, which is why I don't do long form content as much, because it does take a lot of time for search engines to find your content, to rank it, to put it in front of the right people. So for somebody who is, let's say, a course creator that is just starting out, let's say you are in the middle, maybe you're about to launch your product. I would have a website. Like, I would always have that main home, like that main real estate online, because I still, like, I hear a lot of the people these days are like, oh, you don't need a website. And I'm like, you don't need it, but it's nice to have. Like, it's nice to have your website show up when somebody Googles your name. It's nice to have your YouTube channel up there, even if it's going to be, 10 videos that you're going to put out. It's just nice to have a platform like with content that builds your credibility. So that's on that. And then I feel like on social media, we have more control over how fast we're able to bring in the revenue into the business, because through blogging, through YouTube, we can't necessarily message people and have that one-on-one conversation and figure out what their pain points are, what the problems are, what their goals are. So we don't have that like personalized communication with people. So it always acts as the top of the funnel and moving people from your blog posts, moving people from your YouTube videos over to your social media, and to then them being able to connect with you one-on-one. So I feel like for course creators who are starting out, if you want to prioritize revenue, I would build your social media audience. And as you grow the revenue, then you add in, let's say, YouTube, right? Because I would say YouTube is a lot of work. YouTube in itself can be like a full-time job when it comes to, it also depends how many videos you're going to put out. But even one long-form YouTube video a week is, quite a lot of work these days.
Hey there, Destiny here, and I'm the host of the Creators MBA podcast, And this episode is brought to you by HelloContent.shop, your go-to destination for content creation in your online digital product business. I understand how busy you are as an online business owner. I am right there with you. And that is why I have filled our Hello Content Shopify store with low-cost digital products that you can use as a lead magnet or part of your paid programs like your online courses or memberships. We also have marketing templates like email swipe files and social media templates designed to save you time and money. So whether you're looking to streamline your content strategy, enhance your digital products, or just save some precious time, I've got you covered, my friend. Now visit the HelloContent.shop today and take the first step towards effortless content creation. And I would agree that YouTube is a lot of work. I personally love podcasting because I think for me, it's just easier to get it out. You know, you and I are recording right now. We're recording this via Zoom. It's easy for me to take this recording, upload it to my podcast platform and publish it, and then, put that on my website for the show notes. So let's switch gears just a little bit. And you're talking about, let's just talk about Instagram, because I know that the majority of the people listening to this podcast, Instagram is their main content platform. So based on your experience, and I know you run a social media agency, based on your experience, what would you suggest that they focus on with Instagram?
Great question. I love Instagram. Some days I hate it with how it acts. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. But overall, it's always funny to see people say, "Oh, I'm gonna move away from Instagram." No, you won't. Instagram is still, I feel like, the go-to platform. And I always say to people, look, when will you go to in-person events? I never find myself sharing my link. Well, I do share my LinkedIn a little bit, but I never find myself sharing my Threads account or Twitter account or Facebook personal profile. We always exchange Instagrams. So I feel like with that, your Instagram has to be on point. Maybe you're not going to have the most prettiest feed, the most aesthetically pleasing, home, your page. But you got to have a solid strategy of what you're going to share, when you're going to share it, and how often you're also going to show up on Instagram. So I feel like it's a great platform still, regardless of what everybody says, regardless, some people say, "Oh, Instagram is dead," so and so. I'm like, if you say so, just let us be, okay? I'm still having a great time on Instagram myself. And there's still a lot of business to be made on Instagram. So there's a couple of things that you want to incorporate. Obviously Instagram Reels. And I would always say you mix it up and try to stay up to date with what's happening, because Instagram Reels, they are a little bit different than TikTok. If you just compare the features, for example, Instagram Reels are 90 seconds long maximum. So that's all you have over there, versus TikTok, you have 3-minute videos. Some accounts have up to 10-minute videos right now. So TikTok is trying to become more of a long form video platform. On Instagram, the vibe is a little bit different. On Instagram, if you just scroll through the Reels section, the Reels feed, you'll see a lot of, aesthetic videos, a lot of vlogs, those videos like behind the scenes and that kind of stuff. So just scroll through that. If you're absolutely stuck, scroll through that feed and you'll get a bunch of ideas. And I always say, save a bunch of videos that you like. That way you can reuse those sounds, and those videos are going to be the visibility. So Reels, I wouldn't say they're necessarily for converting to leads or converting to customers. You can use those that way. But Instagram Reels are always for traffic. You want to use the trending sounds, you want to, use the trends, essentially. That's still a thing. The other thing that I do like to experiment with myself on Instagram Reels, just because there are times when I get tired of the trends and I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody's creating this, so tired of this, let me try something else, let me see what other type of content is going to work. And I do like to get on video and actually talk, and have a simple video with captions on the screen and share something valuable. Maybe it could be even a tutorial. Like I find that tutorials work really well, whether that's going to be, how to do something on Instagram, because, it makes sense for me to share, how to add captions to your videos, in 3 simple steps or something like that. Because the reason the reason why those videos work so well is people share them. So every time I post a tutorial as an Instagram reel, people love that. They share it to their friends, and then the video goes a little bit viral, right? So for any course creator that's listening right now, think of what kind of tutorial can I post on my Instagram that's going to be really valuable and would be share worthy, right? So that's something else to kind of spice up your content instead of always sticking to trends. And you want to show up on video yourself as well. Like if you're going to do, some aesthetic kind of videos of like photography or I don't know, something like that, you also still want to show up on video and actually talk and have people hear your voice, because these days with all these trends, people do those, voiceovers or, the lip syncing, that kind of stuff. And then a lot of creators, it's really funny to say that, but there are some creators that I find on Instagram and I'm like, man, I've never actually heard your voice. I'm like, how do you sound? Right. So don't ever, not be on video. Like you still have to jump on, talk to your audience. Also jump on stories and actually share something with your audience, because it doesn't always have to be, let me go viral on an Instagram reel. Jump on your story, talk to your existing audience, and have people reach out to you. The other strategy that I do like to mix up right now, especially since Instagram did change the algorithm in the last couple of months, they said, okay, we kind of messed up here. We don't want to just prioritize video. You guys can still post carousels and single photos, right? I'm like, thank God, because when you just post videos, it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not the best way to get to know somebody. When you go to somebody else's Instagram profile and all they post is videos, it's kind of like, I don't know, for me, it's kind of boring, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just want to see how you write, what kind of sentences you use, because everybody's all about short form captions these days. So I always say, like, change it up and mix it up and see what kind of response you get. A lot of the times I do a long form caption and I do get a really good response. And then other times, I don't know about you, but for me, like I still read long captions, because sometimes it's, I don't know, for me, a lot of the times it's easier to consume content in a written format. I don't know about you, Destiny, but like I don't always like to watch videos. I'm like, I just want to read something.
Well, I can give you my opinion. I mean, just how I do it. This is just for me. I don't watch videos. I don't go on YouTube. I don't watch videos. I don't watch videos on Instagram or social media, but I do like to read, but I also like to listen to podcasts. So I think it's just a personal preference, and the thing is, and I think everybody in your audience is going to be maybe just a little bit different. Some might like reading, some might like the videos. That's just how it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, and something that I do in my particular strategy as well is I'm big on repurposing content. I feel like it's always a smart way to leverage your time, leverage your, brain in a sense too. I'm like, if I'm going to write a long caption, or if I'm going to write a script for a short form video that I'm putting up on YouTube or and Instagram, then I'm like, well, I can have it in a video format, and I want to tailor my content to different learning styles, different content consumption styles, like you said. I have somebody in my audience who watches an Instagram reel, and then I can convert that same video script and I adapt it to an Instagram carousel, right? So, and I space those posts out by about 2 to 4 weeks, so it doesn't look like I'm talking about the same thing every single day. So that's something that I do that works really well. So again, like you have to mix it up these days with content, do videos, jump on the video, share your face, share carousels to change it up a little bit, whether it's going to be just like plain black text on a white screen. I actually sometimes find that works the best, instead of those super like well designed images and stuff like that. Kind of keep it more raw. And then do share photos of yourself. Because there are a lot of the times people get so lost in graphics. I'm like, well, I just want to see some freaking pictures of people. Like, that was the old Instagram we've had back in, 2014, 2017. We would all share those like influencer photos and stuff like that. So because people do want the human interaction and human connection, and like seeing actual photos or even videos of people, that's always great. So yeah, that's kind of been my strategy with Instagram.
And I love your philosophy of keeping an open mind, experimenting, and just trying things out. And Elena, before we wrap it up here, do you have any last minute tips for the audience?
Last minute tip. Well, if there's one thing that I've always told people is be consistent. And, there's a lot of people that want results in business, and, whether you're creating a course or a membership, showing up on social media, be consistent with whatever it is that you're doing. And instead of, jumping from platform to another platform, choose something and stick to it. I would even say for at least 6 months. Like 90 days is, for the birds. I feel like these days you have to commit to something for 6 months to make it work, and put your blinders on. Don't get distracted with Threads or these other apps or something else. If you're going to go all in on Instagram, building your Instagram, connecting with people there, building your email list, inviting people to join your membership, inviting people to join your course, promoting that way. Go all in on, 1 to 2 platforms. Maybe you're going to go with, let's say, Instagram and TikTok, and that's going to be your jam. Instagram, TikTok, and email list. And just go for it. And again, keep an open mind. Like, I feel like that's kind of the advice of the day. And be open to experimenting, because with content, and especially with social media, there's no cookie cutter strategy or, copy paste template. I know people sell templates all the time, the caption templates and the graphic templates and the video templates. I'm like, you can't template your entire business. You essentially have to put your own voice into it. You have to put your own personality into it, and be open to change, because things are going to change. And, like 3 months from now, from after this podcast, there may be a new social media platform or a new feature on Instagram or something. So, and if there is a new feature on the platform that you're already using, and I'm not talking about a different like social media platform, try to experiment with that, because that's what I found with Instagram in particular. They laugh when you use the new features. At the time, back then, it was Instagram Reels. Everybody was getting so much traffic and so many leads and so many followers when they were using Instagram Reels. So just always experiment, because social media and marketing as a whole is all about experimenting and finding what works for you, rather than copying what works for some guru online.
And Elena, thank you for sharing all of your knowledge with us and all the tips that you had regarding content strategies. But before we leave, can you let folks know where they can find you? And I believe you have a free gift for them also.
Yes. So they can find me on my website at JelenaOstrovska.com. So I'm sure you're going to have my website in the show notes. I know it's a long name. And
absolutely. We will put the link there.
Yeah. And my Instagram, of course, Instagram.com/Jelena Ostrovska. And I do have a free gift for coaches, course creators, and personal brands that feel a little bit bored with their content. So I've put together a social media content guide with 10 different strategies that you can implement in your business. So it is a free gift that you can get access to in the show notes.
And thank you, Elena, for joining us today. I love chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Destiny. I appreciate that.
Thanks for listening all the way to the end. If you found value in this episode, I'd love a quick review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. If you don't know what to say in the review, just say, Destiny, I loved your episode on whatever topic you're listening to. This will help us get our content out to more people just like you. Have a great rest of your day, and bye for now.